Now, the United States capturing the Venezuelan president might be a surprise to you right now, but if you think about all the problems the world is facing today, it'll make a lot more sense. This is what I mean. Problem number one, people in the United States want the Epstein file. Donald Trump said, oh, no, I don't want to show them that. So as a result, American people not happy. Donald Trump's poll numbers looking real low. Now, as history has shown us, the best way to flip your poll numbers around, to boost them up, is with war. So it makes sense why Donald Trump chose now to go into Venezuela. But why Venezuela? It's because of oil. Oil and money. It's not that complicated. Venezuela got a lot of oil. A lot of oil. Donald Trump and his friends said, ooh, we need that. The Venezuelan president said, don't even start United States. Every time a country said they got oil, you love to just pop your head in. Not this time. This Venezuela oil. Donald Trump said, well, that won't do. And this is where the world has a problem. See, Donald Trump's been doing this thing where he's just breaking the rules of the world and seeing if anyone's going to do anything about it. So Donald Trump said, okay, send the military to Venezuela and give me that oil. Donald Trump's people said, Donald, okay. But we need like a little bit of a reason though. Donald Trump said, because I want oil. Donald Trump's people said, like a reason to tell the American people. Donald Trump said, oh, what are the peasants caring about nowadays? Don't speak, I got it. Substance abuse. Remember that whole substance abuse issue that America is having? Well, it's still happening. So Donald Trump's plan to go into Venezuela was this. Listen closely. He went to the American people, Donald Trump, and he said, all right, y'all don't want substances to come into America. American people said, we don't want substances to come into America. So Donald Trump said, okay, so I'm going to go over to South America and stop those substances from coming in. But here's the problem. The big substance being abused in the United States is Fenty, no Rihanna. But Fenty, no Rihanna doesn't come from South America. It comes from North America, primarily Mexico and the United States. The call is coming from inside the house. But Donald Trump is banking on the fact that the average American isn't going to research which substances comes from where. So he's saying, I'm going to South America to get those substances. Donald Trump's base said, woo, get in there, Trump. What about the Epstein files though? Donald Trump said, huh? Oh, I'm getting a report. The country that has substances is Venezuela. Yeah, let's go into Venezuela. But suddenly out of nowhere, the Honduran president was indicted as a substance bringer to the United States. Donald Trump said, Honduras? Boy, I said go to Venezuela. The United States government said, you were talking about substances. We think we got like a supplier for real. Donald Trump said, Honduran president, take this pardon. You free to go. Honduran president said, appreciate you. Donald Trump said, anyway, I said go to Venezuela. This shows that Donald Trump does not care about substance suppliers. He's going to Venezuela for another reason. The reason we talked about earlier. Power. I know I said oil earlier, but here's where things start to get wicked. Now, remember everything I just said. The Epstein files, not looking good for Donald Trump, so he needs to shake something up. At the same time, he likes money, so he decides to go to Venezuela. And to go to Venezuela, remember, he says, we need to stop those substances from coming to the United States. All right, the story actually gets deeper. In the world, there is a set amount of resources. One of those resources being oil. So big countries like to go into smaller countries and take those resources. This is why Europe colonized Africa. This is why Russia is going into Ukraine. This is why the world wars happen. Part of the reason. So after World War I, the countries looked at each other and said, man, we keep going after these small countries for resources. Everybody getting in. We starting world wars. We got to chill. World War II happens like a few years later. Countries looked at each other and said, man, we keep going after these small countries for resources. Everybody getting in. Hold on, we just said this. But there was a difference between World War I and World War II. Nukes. So the countries realized, oh, we are really tripping if we get into another world war because nukes exist now. And it ain't gonna be just a regular world war. The planet is gonna be destroyed. The United Nations formed. The rules of the world are formed. They said, we can't just go into small countries no more and take resources just because we can. Or it's going to go down. Now, countries have continuously bent the rules to take other people's resources anyway, but let's tie this back into Venezuela. Vladimir Putin, it's all going to tie into Venezuela in a second, trust me. Vladimir Putin said, nah, I don't like those rules. I got a big country. I need resources. I just want to go into countries like Ukraine and all that. The world said, no. Remember what those old people was talking about in World War II? We can't do that. Now, Putin is desperate right now. Russia is really low on resources. The economy not looking good. So Putin said, look, I'm just finna go into Ukraine anyway. Everybody said, well, the United States finna stop you because they still the big dogs of the world. Donald Trump said, United States who? He get Ukraine, I get Venezuela. China, what y'all want? China said, yeah, we was looking at Taiwan. Taiwan, we not finna lie. So the new plan seems to be get all the resources from the smaller countries in your area. Russia, Ukraine, Eastern Europe, China, South China Sea, United States, South America. And you already heard Donald Trump saying he's trying to take Greenland. Donald Trump already broke the rules of the world by going into Venezuela. He also broke the rules of the United States by invading a foreign country without Congress's approval. He said, what you finna do about it? And now is the time to ask what you finna do about it. And this has always been so interesting to me because what are rules and laws if people don't follow them? Listen to the story real quick. It's all gonna tie in. It's gonna make sense in a moment. When I worked at a school, there was this kid that just kept walking out of class in elementary school. He would just walk out of class and just play all day. I looked at the teachers. I said, that boy just going outside. The teacher said, and he been doing that for a few years. I said, a few years? That boy don't know his mathematics. Get him back in class. The teacher said, how? I said, they called his parents. The parents didn't care. They said, go to class. He said, no. What happens next? Donald Trump to me is that child that's just breaking the rules and saying, is anybody finna stop me? I guess I'll just keep going. But on the bright side, there is a way to stop him, and that's with the people. All of these rules and laws I've been talking about, the rules and laws of the world and all that, are collectively made by the people technically, because you vote the politicians in and the world leaders in. So the rules are made from your voice in a sense. So if you tell your voice, like your local congressmen, your senators, yo, shake that boy down before I shake you, you won't believe how fast they say, okay, because you're their boss. So if Donald Trump not releasing the Epstein files, if Donald Trump going into another country to take all of their resources, and if Donald Trump breaking the rules to suit his needs, if Donald Trump not hiding that he's doing all of these things and telling you to your face, I'm going to Venezuela and I'm finna get some oil. If these things don't sit well with you, then call your congressman, call your senator, vote different next election, and keep screaming and keep protesting. It may not seem like it's doing anything, but trust me, protests and people yelling at the top of their lungs on TikTok, Instagram, it matters, because politicians see how the trends go and they're kind of like worms. So if the trend ain't trending towards Donald Trump, they gon' go back the other way. All of a sudden, if people say, you know what, Donald Trump, you not living right, politicians are gonna be like, yeah, you know what, Donald Trump, you not living right. They just gonna mirror everything you say. You're their boss, remember. But anyway, long story short, to the people of Venezuela, to the people of the United States, to the people of the world, even though it seems like you're getting pushed hard, collectively we can push back harder. Yo, what's good, my YouTube folks? How was y'all holidays, man? I'm just checking in on y'all. This is just a message letting y'all know videos are back. We coming back hot this year, 2026. The videos coming in hot. As many of you may know, last year was really rough for myself and the fam. If you don't know by now, my mother passed away around May last year, and it's just been tough catching up, you know, mentally. I finally feel like I'm in a better space to make videos consistently again. If that's not the case and I fall off again, then, you know, it's what it is. But as of right now, I feel like I'm ready. So I want to say I appreciate every single one of y'all's messages, man. The messages, the kindness, the sharing of experiences, people who've experienced the same thing with losing a loved one. Those have been really genuine, man. Those really touch me, and you know, they keep me going. So I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart, every single one of y'all, for real, for real. Even the little comments, I love this video, like the little stuff, man. I'm telling you, like putting like yourself into a video, something that you find funny, and people enjoying it from the bottom of their heart. There's like a feeling about it for me. This is why I love making videos for y'all, seriously. So I appreciate y'all, man. I can't say it enough. I really do appreciate y'all. And let's go into 2026. Let's go in with the bang. The podcast's coming back. I'm thinking next week. I know I've told many of y'all next week for a while, but this time, I'm feeling like it's next week. And I'm also thinking about getting back into streaming, so stay tuned for that. That being said, let's go into 2026 with a bang, y'all. I'll see you on the next video.